What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. I didn't have a clip to post today, but I did want to talk about this thing. Google Stadia, which is like their cloud gaming streaming service, is going to be shutting down permanently in January of next year. And I don't think anyone's that surprised. Cloud gaming might be the future, but I didn't really enjoy it when I had it. But I just wanted to talk about it because apparently people are going to be losing access to the games that they had. A bunch of employees weren't that aware of what was going on. It's just a crapshoot, so let's talk about it. Google is shutting down Stadia. They're refunding all purchases, hardware, software, and DLC. Members of the Stadia team will be carrying this work forward in other departments at Google. Alright, so I am going to give them credit. It is nice that they're going to be refunding all the purchases, hardware, software, DLC. I would be pissed if I spent a bunch of money getting this like cloud gaming system all set up, bought a bunch of games, and then they just shut it down and I got nothing for it. But that being said, this is why I kind of get paranoid about digital games now. I didn't used to be. I used to be a huge digital game guy, like, oh, it's so much easier. But at any point, the company you bought the game from can just turn on those servers and you're just SOL. And yeah, Google's gonna be polite enough to give a refund. That's cool, but do we really believe that everyone would do this? You think when Microsoft inevitably turns off Xbox 360 online compatibility, all the games you bought digitally on there don't work, you think they're gonna give you a refund? Bill Gates didn't get that rich from being a super chill guy who's constantly giving money back, you know. I can't say that for sure, maybe they would. I think it also goes to show that the economy can't be doing that hot if they're starting to shut things down. I don't think Stadia was insanely popular, but I also didn't realize it had gotten to the point where it was such a drain that they should just shut it down. It was easier to get rid of it than salvage it. Google is shutting down Stadia, its cloud gaming service. The service will remain live for players until January 18th, 2023, and Google will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchased through the Google Store, as well as all the games and add-on content purchased from the store. Google expects those refunds will be completed in mid-January. A few years ago, we launched a consumer gaming service, Stadia. Stadia Vice President and General Manager Phil Harrison said in a blog post. And while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on strong technological foundation, it hasn't gained traction with users that we expected, so we've made the difficult decision to begin winding down the service. Employees on the team will be distributed to other parts of the company. I'm glad they're going to be moving everyone to other places and not just firing everyone. It's not the developers' fault that people just didn't like it. I've never really understood the whole game streaming thing. Maybe in the future when internet's way better or whatever. I don't know. I just don't really like the idea personally. But I'll admit that's a dumb personal bias. But yeah, I don't know. Most people don't have the internet to be streaming a game in 1080p. Not to mention, I feel like it didn't really get pushed that hard. It really got pushed the first 2 days it existed. The commercials were everywhere. But other than it being shut down, I can't remember the last time I really heard somebody talk about these cloud gaming services. I know Amazon has one too. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes soon. I mean, the economy's just getting bad. They're starting to get rid of things that aren't milking money. I feel like there's a lot of things that they could have done better, and like I said, this makes me very wary of purchasing games digitally in the future. If there's a game that you know you're going to want forever, you know that one day you're going to want to whip out the console and play it for memories, make sure you buy a physical copy, because this is what makes me paranoid about all these digital libraries, is technically they could always turn it off. I guess 3 years is enough time. If it launched in 2019 and it still didn't have a lot of people using it, it still wasn't doing well. I mean, fair enough. How long are you going to wait for it to kick off? I know it wasn't cheap to get into either. I was reading some comments that people were saying about it being shut down, and people were like, well, at least I'm getting a refund considering I spent $900 to get this all set up. $900 to set up a cloud gaming console. At that point, I'll just buy a gaming PC and then I can play whatever I want whenever I want. And if my internet's not working, I can still play. That's what confused me too, bro. Like, gaming streaming is great, but what if your power goes out? What if you don't have internet for an hour or two? You're just SOL. And it looks like company-wide there's going to be a lot of cuts at Google. That's how I'm gaining more confidence that this economic slowdown is going to be a little bit more long-term as they're starting to cut a lot of projects everywhere. Google to shut down gaming service Stadia as CEO Pichai continues cost-cutting efforts. Google and cutting costs usually doesn't go together that much. I'm not saying they've never done it, but Google has always had this business model of like, just keep investing money and stuff will just end up working out. They weren't profitable for a very long time. Even YouTube was not profitable for a very long time. It's just recently that this website has become profitable for Google. So they're usually willing to sit on something if it has any potential to pop off. That's either an indication of how bad things are getting in terms of being able to fund these projects, or it's an indication of how few people were playing Stadia. It's one or the other. He either looked at the chart and said, wow, 11 people actively online, or he's like, dude, listen, we're about to get smacked sideways by the economy so hard, I've got to cut some costs here or I'm going to get fired. And the only other thing that sucks even more is Stadia did have some exclusives, and people are really confused on what's going to happen to those. I don't know if Google will maybe allow those to be released on Steam or whatever, but that would be unfortunate too. Imagine finding a game you really like, you get super into it, pour all the hours in, and it literally is unplayable forever. Like, even if you track down an old copy, there is no copy. It was digital only, and the servers are gone. All the games we might lose forever when Google Stadia dies. Like I said, I don't know much about it. I went through the list of games. None of them hopped out as me as like some huge AAA title, but still, it would suck to lose a game that you're really into and never be allowed to play it again. It's just been a while since something like this has gone bust and disappeared on this level, so I thought it was interesting. I'm not saying the entire gaming world is going to like press F and grind to a halt, but it's bizarre that we're not living in a world where everything involving gaming is doing well. For a while, all the companies were like, whatever, we'll just make a gaming division and throw money at it. What's the worst that could happen? And come to find out, that's a pretty stupid business model. Gamers might like to play video games, but we're not dumb enough to just play things that aren't good. No offense, Stadia. I know the people who worked on it probably worked very hard, but there's a reason it was around for 3 years, and they probably had, like, the player numbers of, I don't know, Team Fortress 2 with all the cheats going on. Not a very high player number, bro. The technology could be promising. What would be really crazy is if in 15 years we're all streaming games. That's how you know that they were just ahead of the curve, wrong place, wrong time. I don't know if I'll ever hop on the flow. Like I said, this makes me paranoid. If anything, stuff like this makes me want to own physical games even more because, whoa, I'm not getting those servers turned off. If I pay for a game, I'm keeping it forever. That sounded pretty boomer, but whatever. I just thought this was interesting. If you enjoyed, you guys should press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. And of course, subscribe if you're new. I've got another Ryan's Rants coming out tomorrow, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't watched the Storytime channel in a bit, feel free to go check it out. On that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant, and if you do, make sure they're hot. I'm going to go stream some Netflix now. Hopefully those servers never go offline. See y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.